news that matters. Fox 40 News at 10 starts now.
5 people are dead, 3 children still missing after a car plunges from a Mendocino County cliff. What we're learning about one of those children tonight. And surveillance video captures a child swiping speakers from a Stockton store as a woman waits in a getaway car. Why the store manager says he is not pressing charges. More protests tonight in the streets of downtown Sacramento in the wake of the police shooting death of Stephon Clark. Those protests happening the day before the father of 2 is laid to rest. Thanks for joining us at 10. I'm Ty Steele. Final goodbyes will be made tomorrow for Stephon Clark. His funeral is being held at Bayside Boss Church in South Sacramento beginning at 11 a.m. Fox 40 will, of course, be there, and you can stream the service live on our Facebook page. Tomorrow will also be a big day. In addition to the funeral in South Sacramento, there will also be a third protest scheduled at the district attorney's office at 3 o'clock. There's also a Sacramento Kings game happening at 7 p.m. In the past 2 out of 3 games at the Golden and One Center have been disrupted by the protesters who've blocked fans from getting inside. So we wanted to know, what are team officials planning for tomorrow's game to make sure that fans can get inside? They say ticket checks will be at the perimeter of the Doco Plaza, meaning no one without a ticket will be allowed into the plaza. That's a different tactic from the previous games, where protesters were able to get right up to the front of the arena. Sac PD is also sending more officers to the arena. And earlier tonight, a protest turned into a march, shutting main roads in downtown Sacramento. And Fox 40's Joe Khalil is joining us live now outside the county district attorney's office, where those protests began earlier today. Joe.
Yeah, Ty, protesters here demanding change, and often from the outside that sounds abstract. What do you mean by change? Well, they were very clear today. They want charges brought forth against the officers who shot and killed Stephon Clark. Now, nationwide, we haven't seen a lot of officers be charged for police shootings, but the district attorney has that power. That's why they demanded change from her today, and they took that message to the streets.
Say his name! Stephon Clark! Say his name! Stephon Clark!
A call for change. An intentional disruption of everyday life. That is what protesters and marchers say is necessary for the Sacramento community to recognize that the death of Stephon Clark at the hands of police officers is just a symptom of a much larger problem.
We need white folks to show up, we need brown folks to show up, we need everybody to come out. People power is what's going to make the change happen, so we need the people with us.
Tanya Faison with Black Lives Matter organized this protest Wednesday, the second of 3 protests outside the Sacramento County District Attorney's Office, calling on DA Anne-Marie Schubert to hold police accountable.
We want her to file charges. We need that to happen. Like, we cannot get justice if those officers are still working and if he's not charged and if he's not convicted.
But this protest morphed into a march. Demonstrators occupied busy intersections downtown, blocking traffic, preventing drivers from getting to the roads that lead to the highway.
I just want my voice to be heard.
Among those demonstrating Wednesday, twins Brian and Bria Barrage, both high school classmates of Stephon Clark.
Right now, he's not here to say anything for himself, so if anybody can do it, we can. And that's why I'm here. And I'm not going to stop until justice or something is done.
I mean, do you think people are paying attention to what, this movement is trying to
No, not as much as they need to, but they will eventually. We won't stop until they will.
As the days since Stephon Clark was killed turn to weeks, demonstrators here say don't expect their voices to go quiet anytime soon. And clear to see that emotion that was driving those protests all week still present in protesters here today. They have vowed to be back here at the DA's office again tomorrow. Reporting live in Sacramento, Joe Khalil, Fox 40 News.
Joe, thanks a lot. And the unruly behavior of some of the protesters at last night's city council meeting, including Clark's own brother, who sat on top of the council desk, has city officials calling for a peaceful discourse.
That's our worry. We don't want one of our council members or our mayor assaulted during a crowd, and that was my worry when that was going on.
Chief Hahn says many of the protesters have broken laws, including blocking streets, damaging property, and assaulting fans outside the Golden One Center. Sacramento Mayor Darrell Steinberg says it's a delicate balance between being sensitive to the pain of so many over Clark's death while still maintaining safety.
I don't like what happened, but at all. I was the one standing there. But it was my job to bear the pain of that brother and the pain of our communities the best that I can as the leader for all of the people.
Mayor Steinberg says if police had made more arrests, there would have been riots and more people would have been hurt. So police have stood by and watched as many incidents have diffused themselves. Steinberg also said he believes Sacramento can get through this trying time and be better for it. Well, many people recognize the impact these protests are having, but are hoping they remain peaceful. Tonight, we spoke to Dr. Ollie Mack, president of the board of directors of the Mutual Assistance Network, and we asked him if he remains optimistic that change can be achieved.
So you do have optimism, and I think the optimism is in the fact that individuals other than the protesters, individuals other than the demonstrators, and individuals other than the family have come to recognize that change is inevitable. It's not just in this particular movement, but you see it with the Me Too movement. You see it with the young people marching on Washington for gun control.
Dr. Mack said he believes the mayor, the police chief, and the DA's office are committed to transparency and to regaining the public's trust. New tonight, dozens of people from all different backgrounds came together to remember Stephon Clark and to call for an end to violence. Fox 40's Sarah Zendenam joining us live now from the Sacramento Islamic Center with that part of the story. Sarah?
Well, Ty, of course, the meeting here tonight was very calm and very peaceful, but the call for action and change was loud and clear. Now, Stephon Clark was a man of Muslim faith, and that's why the meeting was held here tonight at the Salam Islamic Center. The chanting and marching continues in one part of the city.
We call upon Allah, God, to bless this gathering.
As an interfaith town hall takes place in another, all in the name of Stephon Clark.
Black people have historically been policed by a different standard of policing than other people in this country.
The police shooting death of the young Sacramento father sparked this emergency meeting at Salam Islamic Center, where religious leaders called to end violence against the black community. During the meeting, an emotional plea to remember Clark as the victim rather than vilify him.
If you can cast enough suspicion around his character and make him evil enough and make him not worth the struggle, then maybe people will just say, well, he had it coming.
Clark's family was in the audience. So were his two little boys. One runs and plays outside, not yet knowing the magnitude of his father's death and the change that many hope will come from it. The keynote speaker, an imam who's nationally recognized for his work in social justice.
I'm hopeful that if we begin to see each other as human beings, then maybe we will recognize how flawed our country is domestically and with our foreign policy. I'm hopeful that we will start to question the way that our government has been operating here and abroad.
That hope Omar Solomon has won't waver. It's the same hope many across the city have in their effort to make a difference in the name of Stephon Clark.
I'm hopeful that if we are angry enough and organized enough, then maybe we can begin to put an end to this terror.
One speaker tonight said we are in a state of emergency and have been in a state of emergency, and they hope their actions will change that. In Sacramento tonight, Sarah Zendenam, Fox 40 News.
Sarah, thanks so much, and stick with Fox 40 for the latest on this story. For the most up-to-date information, download our free Fox 40 app and search Stephon Clark. In other news tonight, and this just into our newsroom, an elderly man is dead after crashing his car on the track at the Sonoma Raceway this evening. It happened around 6:15 during the Raceway's Wednesday night drags program. Raceway officials say the man was racing his 1976 Ford Pinto on the quarter-mile drag strip when he lost control. That's when he crashed. He was the only racer on the track at the time. Officials say it is the first on-the-track death in the 30-year history of the Wednesday night drags program. Now to Citrus Heights, where a woman is dead after being hit by a car while crossing the street. This is where it happened just after 4:30 this afternoon at the intersection of Greenback Lane and Auburn Boulevard. And Fox 40's Nicole Comstock is joining us live tonight with an update on that. Nicole.
Ty, so many pedestrians use this crosswalk behind me on a daily basis that they actually have yield to pedestrian signs at all of the four corners here whenever you hit the button to go across the crosswalk. Despite that, that woman still did lose her life out here tonight, right in the middle of that marked crosswalk. Despite that, police say that the driver was actually the one who had the green light, that this was simply an accident because he didn't see her. A lot of cars and a lot of pedestrians share the road at Auburn and Greenback in Citrus Heights.
This intersection here is crazy.
The hectic intersection where Wednesday evening during rush hour, a woman using a marked crosswalk was hit by a lifted truck and killed.
People run the red lights all the time.
But police say the person driving that truck did not run a red light, that he made a left turn when his light turned green, and that the woman was crossing the street during a do not cross cycle.
Apparently he didn't see her and took off and ran her over.
Michael Morrow stopped by to see if he could help. He says everyone needs to focus more when they're in traffic.
If he was paying attention, he would have seen her coming from left or right.
And he says that from experience because he drives big trucks for a living.
You're up higher than everybody else, so you have a better field of vision.
At least from a distance you do. Morrow says big trucks tend to have big blind spots for anything up close. First responders tried to save the woman's life, but they were unable to revive her. It was heartbreaking to James Howard, who lives nearby.
Yeah, I called my wife and told her to come down. We'll say a prayer for her and her families because, you know, it's tragic that it happened.
Important to note also that that driver did stop and stay on scene here with police. They do not believe that drugs, alcohol, or speed were a factor in this collision. Reporting live tonight from Citrus Heights, Nicole Comstock, Fox 40 News.
All right, Nicole, thanks so much. And a late night crash leaves 3 people dead, including at least 1 child. It happened around 9:30 last night in the Arden Arcade area. A pickup truck and a car were approaching the intersection of Watt and Northrop, and that's when officers say the car turned on a red light in front of the truck, leading to the deadly collision. 2 other people were seriously hurt in this crash. The driver of the truck is going to be okay. And new details were falling on the scary situation that unfolded near Olivehurst today. A shooting has left 1 person dead. Yuba County Sheriff's deputies say it happened near the Dollar General store this afternoon. Investigators believe 2 men got into some type of an argument, which then led to that gunfire. And they say the suspect shot and killed the victim before then turning the gun on himself. Maria says she was working at a nearby Subway store when all this happened.
I was making sandwiches, and I just see a guy on the floor try to cover himself. And then we heard the shots.
Nearby schools had to briefly be put on lockdown this afternoon as a precaution, and the road was closed off while crews worked to clear this scene, but it's since been reopened. Authorities say the suspected gunman is now in the hospital with life-threatening injuries. A 1-year-old child is safe tonight after nearly being kidnapped from his own home. It happened just before noon today on West Lane off East Harding Way. Police say the victim's mother heard noises in the hallway and found the suspect leading the child out of his nursery. The mother and the suspect fought until she was able to regain control of her son. Officers caught 23-year-old Francis Drake a short time later. Embattled former Stockton Mayor Anthony Silva was back in court today. Silva faces a charge of unlawful possession of a firearm. The Department of Justice initiated the arrest after learning that Silva was in possession of an AR-15 style rifle. Now, this is in violation of a court order from an Amador County judge, but Silva's attorney says that he did not knowingly violate the order because he was unaware of any restrictions. Silva left the court today and did not speak to reporters.
Still ahead, a family of 8 presumed dead tonight after their car plunges off a California cliff. Among the victims, the person behind a viral photo. Plus, an autopsy confirms the death of an aspiring actress who disappeared more than a month ago. What the family's private investigator is revealing now. And caught on camera, a child steals from a store in Stockton.
It's sad how you teach kids how to steal so young, and it's all right. That's why it's messed up.
Coming up at 10:30, what family of the suspects are doing to try and make the situation right.